In this video, we're going to take a look at decals inside of Autodesk Inventor. Now, decals are nothing more than adding imagery to our parts, and this is normally for visual inspection, visual acuity, something you want to show off to somebody. It's a visualization. It's really not something that you manufacture a decal from this part file. Now, there has been times where you might want to have a decal show up in your bill of material. For that purpose, you can create a very, very thin part and then add a decal onto it. What I'm going to show in this video is just adding decals to really anything. So keep that in mind. If you need to have a decal as a bill of material item, go ahead and create a very, very thin extrusion and then add your decal onto that. Therefore, you have a nice representation of what that decal would be for a bill of material item, and then you can also constrain it inside of an assembly. For right now, I'm just going to slap some stickers on this part. So here I have the decals IPT, and I have a work plane already created here. I'm going to start a network plane, and I would like to insert an image. So to do that, we go over to our Insert panel, and we have the Image command up here. When we select that, we want to make sure we choose our provided image we have in our Working Files directory, and be very, very aware of this next step. Down below, there's a button called Link. The linking of a decal is perhaps one of the silliest things that Autodesk does as a default setting. If I change this PNG file for some reason, and it's been linked into, let's say, 20 different Inventor part files, those will update. Well, that's fine until you move your files around and you lost the Infinite Scales PNG and you can't find it anymore. And every time you open the part file, it says, hey, I can't find this. Where is it? So to avoid that whole problem of missing links and images, because files do get moved around, let's face it, it's just one less thing you have to worry about if you embed the image. So if I uncheck the link box, the image will actually become part of the file. It gets embedded inside of this file that we're working on. Different types of files you can bring in: BMPs, GIFs, JPEGs, obviously the PNG. You can actually bring in doc files that have images in them too. I just want to stick with the PNG though. I'll choose Open, and I'm going to drop it in right about here for now. Choose OK, and it's obviously too large to go on this cylinder by itself. However, I'm going to wrap it around there. Now you could size it up and down by pulling on the edges, but what I'm going to do is simply move this to a better location. You can see you can grab on these different corner points. The upper right corner allows me to grab that just to kind of put it there where I want it. Here I'll project my geometry from the top, and I'll make this collinear to this construction line so it lines up there. I'm also going to use my midpoints for my coincident to line it up on there as well. And I'll finish the sketch. So how on earth is this going to fit on here? Well, it does it by wrapping it around the cylinder. So when we start our decal command, this is up on our Create Expanded panel. There we find the Lonesome Decal command inside of this dropdown. We basically pick our image, we select our face, we can tell it to wrap it to that face as well as if we can also chain faces. So in this particular case, I'm not chaining any faces together, it's all one face. But if I had put this Infinite Scales decal down here across these fillets and these faces down below, then I would want to chain them together because they are different faces. So for now, I'll choose OK. You can see how it gets wrapped around the cylinder. Let's just take a brief tour of that. There we go. Now there's a couple of other settings we can do with the decal command as well. So let me just back this up with a couple undos. So I'm back here before I started the decal tool. And if I go to my sketch, let me activate it. If I right click on the image, I go down to Properties for that image. Here I can do different orientation flips, as well as using a transparency mask. So this basically gets rid of what you might have as an alpha channel inside of an image. Not all images have this. So sometimes the transparency works, sometimes it doesn't. Just depends on how fluent you are with Photoshop and creating transparency masks or alpha channels inside your images. If this was done correctly, you probably would have seen all of this white or cream type color disappear from this image. Instead, I only lost the bottom part of it because that's where the transparency mask was. Here I'll choose OK. Finish my sketch. And we'll do this decal again. That image wrapped to that face. Make sure you check that option. And there we go. Now, if you ever want to make sure or be aware of the links you have in a file, in case you did create a link, if you go up here to your Tools tab, you'll see a Links button. If that's available, at some point, somebody probably linked something in there. So you can also go to this Links command where my cursor is right now, and you could actually go into that and break a link if you don't want one.